Kelly. Thanks so much for your really interesting presentation on cloud computing. I thought your decision to use Google Sites for your presentation was a good one, not only because it demonstrates to your intended audience, one more option or one more um, example of a cloud computing tool, but also because it's very easy to use, it's easy to navigate, and I like the fact that you've put it all in one spot. Along those same lines, I love the fact that you've included so many examples. Your Voki, for example, is a great thing for teachers to know about, and being able to show them that you can do this and then embed it in a site like this is really helpful. I loved that, as other people commented, that you included this little section here, this sort of outcomes, I guess, or goals for the program. And I also like that you made it kind of a choose your own adventure kind of model, I guess. I liked that you allow your teachers to work through this at their own pace, giving them lots of examples and lots of tutorials that they can use now or later or ignore, I guess, if they so choose. Your definition page is really helpful, and I loved this video. This was a great video. And of course, I'm a big fan, as you probably know, of the cloud computing, or sorry, of the In Plain English video series. So that's another good one to have linked to. Using Wallwisher as a way of collaborating and getting people to brainstorm is also a really good idea. And having this link at the bottom of every page to the next section. One thing that you probably could do is even make this a little more obvious, whether it's sort of a button that you put in or just something so that it's really clear that this is what they need to click on so that they move to the next page of your tutorial. That was one very minor thing that I thought of as I was going through it. So moving along, this page on using Google Apps in education was great because I think this is the one that most people, even if they haven't used themselves, are most familiar with. And introducing that with a Wordle is a really good idea because that's, again, another example of a cloud computing tool that some people maybe aren't familiar with. I loved your inclusion of the videos and the tutorials. I wasn't sure. I know you created some of these, or I assume that you created some of these, but some of them I think you also borrowed from other sources, which is totally fine. And the fact that they all have these Creative Commons attribution licenses is great sort of modeling of how to be good digital citizens, as we've been talking about this week. So that's a really good thing. And then your further examples were also really nicely laid out so that it was kind of done in a very non-threatening kind of way, which I think is really, really good. People sometimes have a tendency, I think, in something like this to feel a little overwhelmed. So introducing them to Google Docs initially and then sort of having a separate page with a few other very easy examples of cloud computing tools was a good idea. The other thing you could do is perhaps link to some specific examples. So, for example, a Glogster, you could include an example of a Glogster that you've taken from some other source or that you've created, just so that they have kind of a visual representation of what that actually looks like. Uh, I've made some comments on the marking sheet for your resource page, but that was excellent. I've got your references that you sent me. And this section here, I'm running out of time, but this section here with some examples of your school's cloud creations is also a really good inclusion for your teachers to be introduced to some of the options within your school. So thank you so much. This was a really interesting presentation. It was a really nice introduction. Recognizing that some of your teachers will be very unfamiliar with these tools, I think this was a very easy way for them to get involved and to see what the options are and to have them know that they can come to you for help. So great job. Thanks.